Hey MVPs, Rico Knows here. Going to talk to you guys about K-State in a futures bet. You guys see it here. The books have them at 9.5 wins. If you guys aren't aware, I'm breaking down every single team in America, letting you know their win totals and whether or not we should be betting on these. These are futures bets, so you got to go to win totals, get it in before the season starts, and you'll make your money at the end of the season. This is only regular season wins, not the bowl games. So let's talk about it. Are they going to win 10 games? Or are they going to win 9 games? That's what this is saying. If you think they're winning 10 games, it's a plus 118. That means Vegas actually has them on the 9. While if you look all over Twitter and the rest of the world, everybody has them winning a ton of games and being a favorite in the Big 12 and all this stuff. All right, so let's go look at it. Last year, by the way, they did not get to 9. They did not get to 9 wins in the regular season. They got to 9, but that's because they counted the bowl game. They were really 8-4 in the regular season. And if you look at it, they beat an FCS opponent, and then they played Troy. And what they did was they proved to Troy that there are levels to this shit, right? We're K-State. We're in the Big 12. We do what you do, only we do it better. By the way, we play great at home. So Manhattan, Kansas, run-dominant team, don't really throw the ball, and just smash you and bash you and thrash you. Now, Troy does the same thing. Troy is built a lot like K-State, only on a lower level. They just couldn't do it the same. If you looked at them against Missouri, though, Missouri wins this game by a freak field goal. And listen, guys, this reminds me of Illinois a couple of years ago in the sense that Illinois had a chance to win double-digit games, and they ended up with 8 wins. They had a bunch of close losses, 8 wins, and they had like all these NFL draft picks. They had a bunch of great players in the offense and defense and everything. K-State had a chance to do something really special last year had they just won some of these games. You beat Missouri on the road. Missouri doesn't have the season they had. You don't have the season you had. You beat UCF. If you could beat Oklahoma State with 2 weeks of preparation, but you couldn't, they do the same thing you do. They line up, run the ball at you, play really good defense, great coaching. That's what K-State is. K-State, Oklahoma State, both the same thing. Same template for success. And then you go down, they beat everybody they're supposed to beat in the Big 12. Then against Texas, you lose in overtime. And once again, if you had just found a way to win those 3 games, we would have been singing a different tune all the way around. Beat Baylor, beat Kansas, very impressive. And then you beat Iowa State. One thing I'll say about beating Kansas, it was Cole Ballard at quarterback, the third-string freshman quarterback. That one doesn't really move me. Congratulations, you got it done. Not that impressive. Losing to Iowa State in the snow, another templated team, but this one they just couldn't tackle Boo Sama in the snow. Kid almost rushed for 300 yards. So it is what it is. And then you go and beat NC State in the bowl game. Not a lot of pressure in that game. We don't even know what was going on with the quarterback situation, the defense, a bunch of opt-outs, all kinds of stuff. So you go into next season. Let's talk about it. Quarterback, Will Howard's gone. He went to Ohio State. Will Howard, fine. Didn't do much. A lot of turnovers. Not looking good. Avery Johnson gets the start in the bowl game. And guys, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I have yet to see anything on film that says Avery Johnson's a great quarterback. I see him run the ball. I've never seen him throw it like it matters. 56% completion percentage does not move me, doesn't excite me. I get it, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, but I don't think this is indicative of a superior passing quarterback at all. Still not impressed. And I'll say another thing. When your wide receivers average less than, let's just go with 40. Less than 40 receptions. If you have anybody with 40 receptions or less, that means they're insignificant to the win-loss total. I want to be very clear. If you're getting less than 2 receptions a game, because they play 14 games, right? If they go to a bowl game, what conference championship and a bowl game, that's 14, 13 games at a minimum. So let's just say 13 games. Let's just say 25 receptions, 30 receptions. If you have less than 30 receptions, you're averaging 2 receptions a game. I don't care how good you are. You have no impact on the game. 2 receptions, no impact on the game. Their leading receiver was a tight end and Phillip Brooks. Both of them are gone. Neither one of them is there anymore. And they don't throw the ball enough for it to be significant. And they're having a drop back in passing acumen, if you will. They're not going to be the same passing team. They got a runner. Dude, Will Howard can run the rock. Will Howard broke for 70 yards. I watched it. Will Howard is Vanilla Vic. I'm telling you. Yeah, Avery Johnson can run and he looks athletic and everything. I don't see it, man. I don't see the upgrade. There's no passing acumen. There's no upgrade. They have great running backs. Shout out to DJ Giddens. Treshaun Ward just left. It was a Florida State transfer. He just went to Boston College. He's a change of pace back anyways. They just got that in the transfer portal with Dylan Edwards. It's not a big deal. And obviously, DJ Giddens is the workhorse for this offense. Offensive line is stout. Defense. Marquise Siegel. Fuck me, man. Marcus Siegel. North Dakota State transfer. Came to the team, led them in tackles, and he didn't even play in the first game of the season. That's something for you. I think he looks short on tape. They say he's 6 foot. I don't know. Austin Moore, a homegrown kid from Kansas. My bad. I almost said Iowa. Kansas. VJ Payne, 6'3". Looks the part from Buford. Great athlete. Getting around doing some things. I'm going to talk about these guys. Kobe Savage. Transferred, went to Oregon. Purnell can play linebacker, stud. Speaking of stud, Jacob Parrish, very good corner. Yes, he's only 5'10", but he's a stud of a corner. Will Lee, great defensive back, but he left for Texas A&M, so they're going to have to figure that out. Mott's a good defensive lineman. Palmer's decent. Clifton, I like Romaine a lot. I wish he was in the starting lineup. I'm going to say it again. I believe he should be a starter. Keenan Garber should not be a starter. We'll talk about it. And Stufflebean's a starter. Samelo Yuso's a starter. Yeah. Let's go to the depth chart. So like I said, wide receiver room. Not impressed with this wide receiver room. And I'm going to give you guys just my emphasis on like what I see on tape from K-State. 2 years ago, K-State won the Big 12. Despite TCU being almost undefeated and going to the national championship game and the playoffs and all that, K-State won the Big 12. Then they go to the bowl game and get blown out by Alabama. And the reason for that is they take 3 stars and make them NFL draft picks. They take 3 stars and make them 5 stars, so they say. They do this thing where they develop players. It's the North Dakota State Bison model, right? If you don't know, Chris Kleiman's the head coach. He comes over from North Dakota State, and he has no ties to Kansas whatsoever. Doesn't matter. He starts recruiting the best players out of Kansas. A lot of these kids are Kansas born and bred. And he starts developing his roster. And he's getting the most out of his players. And that's what you do at North Dakota State. The Bison somehow beat everybody in the FCS for years upon years because of coaching, because of development of players, and identifying those fringe FBS level guys and giving them an opportunity at the FCS level. And when you can identify talent like this is like a Rico Notes thing. This is what I do. Right? I identify talent that nobody else is talking about. Well, Chris Klieman actually does it in real life at K-State, and he finds players that nobody else would value, and he makes them better. Now, they're slowly getting 4-star recruits, but there's still this tendency to go out and get these players that are okay and then trying to hit a home run with them. And that's fine unless you have to play the Texas, the Missouri, the Oklahoma States. Unless you have to play the really talented teams, you just don't you don't see the gap in talent. You see the coaching is there. And shout out to Van Malone. Van Malone, for example, he's the defensive backs coach, complete stud. And he gets the most out of his secondary. He gets the most out of these players, and he develops them so amazingly. And that's why you see the transfer portal, a bunch of guys getting over to K-State that you'll be like, man, they keep hitting it out the park. But their offensive coordinator just changed this year. It's going to be their offensive line coach. What's that mean? We're going to run the rock? We're going to go out there and run the – we already do that. They don't use their wide receivers, so it really doesn't move me like that. I don't get too excited about the wide receiver room. Yes, Dante Cephas just came in, but I want to explain this again. Where is Dante Cephas from? Well, Rico's transferring over from Penn State. No. Before that, he was at Kent State. He was in the MAC. And if there's anything Kansas State does really well, is recruit that upper Midwest area. Like, they recruit that upper Midwest area because that's what they used to do at North Dakota State. That's their pipeline. That's what they know. So when they start seeing a good kid out of the MAC, they're going to go grab him. You don't believe me? Jordan Riley is from the MAC, Ball State, first team All-MAC. Jordan Riley's got no interceptions in his life, but he tackles really hard. He meets the ball with aggression. He's got no interceptions. They don't even pick off the passes. I think VJ Payne has 1 interception in his life, and it was a backup quarterback that he picked it off from. It was a Jake Strong at Texas Tech, the freshman. It wasn't even, Tyler Shuck, Morin. No, it was the third string guy. That's who VJ Payne's. Me and VJ Payne, man, we got the same amount of interceptions against Division I starters. Sigil, Marquise. This dude, Siegel here, he's got all FCS level interceptions. And then last year, I think he picked off Cole Ballard, the backup quarterback at Kansas. Not even the backup. Jason Bean was the backup. It's the third string quarterback. These guys look good against third string quarterbacks. And then I know Keenan Garber had a pick six against Blake Shapen. And that's it, man. They don't really find the ball like that, bro. They're not built like that. What they have are hidden gems. Alec Marenko should not be a starting linebacker. He just transferred in from New Mexico. I went and watched the tape. I mean, he's injury prone. I think Austin Romaine should be starting. The rest of these guys are studs. From Parrish, Purnell, Moore, Mott, all these guys are pretty good. They're all very good. And then you have superior coaching. Van Malone is superior coaching. Okay, but even on offense, I don't care what Keegan Johnson does. That dude is an Iowa transfer. How good are Iowa wide receivers? I'll wait. It's an Iowa wide receiver. When you start finding your additions in your offense from Iowa, Kent State, Ball State, like those moves, that's nothing to me, man. It's not good. It's not good. Kilty, they're telling me he's good. They're telling me he's first team all Missouri Valley. Played at North Dakota, not North Dakota State, North Dakota. They're still recruiting their old stomping grounds. And that's what they're getting. That's where they got Marcus from. Marcus is from North Dakota State. Now Kilty's from North Dakota. Same conference in the FCS. They got a pipeline. But you're not going to win against those superior teams with these guys. You're finding good players, I guess. Pretty senior lad in offensive line. Pretty decent. You go and get Taquan Roberson coming over from UConn. To see him ahead of Jacob Knuth is a little scary. Knuth is a Minnesota transfer. Another example of a kid who played in South Dakota, won a bunch of state titles, never lost a game in high school, went to Minnesota, couldn't get in the starting lineup, lost the job to Kaliak Manis, and now he's here. Cool. You're finding Midwest hidden gems and trying to develop them to be competitive with the best players. And I think that it's a bargain way of doing things. I think it's cool, but it just doesn't match up well on a Saturday against some of these elite teams. So, and you see that. Teams last year were able to beat them over the top, but they've still got such a great pedigree of football that they can just go out there, line up, and beat a lot of the other teams in the Big 12. Transfer portal. They didn't lose a whole lot, per se. They really didn't. I mean, Savage is a starting safety. It sucks, right? But everybody else transferring out didn't really go up in competition. They didn't stay at the Power 4 level. Will Lee, and that's a little scary because Will Lee was honorable mention all conference, and he's not even starting at A&M right now. He might be a nickelback, but I really like Will Lee. He's a good player. So, but losing Will Lee to A&M is not good. Wesley Watson, just whatever. That's all on you. And then obviously your quarterback, Boston College. It's not that big of a deal. Who'd they get? I talked about all of it. You just don't see it on here. Justin Wolf, a tight end coming over from Wagner. Let's talk about this. Late in the cycle here. Now, Quentin Rice coming over, but you saw the depth chart. Quentin Rice is listed as a wide receiver coming over from BYU as a wide receiver, okay? That's wild. Congratulations. Wide receiver. It doesn't matter. They don't throw to him more than once or twice a game. Jordan Dunbar, though, is a good corner. Good corner. And I think they really like Jordan Dunbar. And the reason they picked him to come over is I don't think they believe in Garber. Keenan Garber's been in school 5 years. 5 years and you got one interception to your name? Nah, bruh. It's just, I think that's where they want him. For me, that's where they want him. Because Jacob Parrish is a stud. So you go and sign a great kid late in the cycle. When did Dunbar commit? 5/31/24. Yeah, late in the cycle, almost June. The portal was closed and everything. He was just sitting out there waiting to get picked up. And by the way, I went and watched tape. Jordan Dunbar is a stud. Complete stud. Talked about it on Twitter. So, what all this to say that when I look at K-State's schedule next year, let me say this. They have such a good program and such good coaching that they're going to win games they're supposed to win. They're going to beat UT Martin. They're going to beat Tulane. Tulane is just Troy 2.0. John Summerall just left Troy. He moved over to Tulane. And what do you know? Another season. I got to play these bastards in the second game of the season again. It's going to be bad. And they're going to beat them. Now, I got them winning 1, 2, 3. They're going to beat BYU, but BYU does match up really well with them. Just so you know. But they're going to beat them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you think it's 7 at Iowa State, congratulations. If you think it's 7 at Iowa State, congratulations. I don't have them beating Arizona. I don't think they match up well with Arizona. Arizona has amazing wide receivers that they can't cover. Arizona has a stout offense, great offensive line, good running backs, great quarterback. I just don't see it. And by the way, Arizona's got a good defense. So Arizona, Oklahoma State, Kansas, I got them losing those games. Got them losing those games. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even if you have them winning 7 games, they got to beat Colorado with 2 weeks of prep, and they got to beat West Virginia on the road. They got to go out there and win. And even if they beat Colorado and West Virginia, that's still only 9 wins. If you think they're getting to 10 wins, they got to beat Kansas, Oklahoma State, or Arizona, one of those teams, and everybody else. With a freshman quarterback, with a new starting quarterback. Let me give you guys one more thing about K-State. And this one is huge to me, okay? K-State last year had 7 team captains. 7 team captains. They now have 1 returning. 1. And that might not mean anything to some of you guys, but it does to me. The only returning team captain is Austin Moore. All 6 of their previous team captains are gone. Cooper Beebe and the boys are gone. So, yes, every team has to find new team captains. But you don't lose all 6 out of your 7 team captains. That hurts you in preparation. That hurts you in those downtimes, like when you're getting ready for the season and the coaches can't have contact with the players and you can't do organized practices. Only the players can do practice-led sessions and things like that. That's when you need team captains. And K-State is having to identify new leaders on the team this season. New leaders on the team, new quarterback that has never thrown the ball, a downgrade in the secondary, if you will. Seeing Kobe Savage leave hurts. You're replacing a guy who's going to be starting at Oregon with a guy who started at Ball State. I know, and I like MAC players. I'm cool with it. He's all conference MAC, first team. No interceptions in his life. I don't like corners and DBs with no interceptions. I don't. They got to find the ball. I know. And then this is just a very daunting October for them. These 3 games in a row look very tough to try to win, especially on the road. You're going to get beat up on the road at West Virginia, and you're going to physically feel that. That's going to be a very difficult game. And the very next week at home, you're going to try to host Kansas. In a rivalry game at your home stadium, you're going to try to host Kansas after getting beat up by West Virginia. And I think they're getting the blocks. I think they're going to be down here 3-2. 3-2. And you need them to win 10 games. They're going to have 2 losses before October, and you need them to win 10 games. Don't see it. I'm on the under, and it's a lock, 2 units. It's right here. I'm on the under, K-State. It's a lock for 2 units. Go ahead, screenshot this, zoom in, read all of it. Go watch the videos. You guys, before the season starts, spread your units out. Get on some of these teams. Get on some of these bets. You see them out there. Start making some smart bets. Make the value bets. You better get on Missouri over 9.5. You better find your value bets. Michigan State, Iowa. Like go out there, watch the videos though. Don't blind tail the chart. Pick and choose wisely. You'll make a ton of money. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.